Hi there, I'm Bo Blackwell, Director of Education for ClickBank, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about how to improve your conversions by optimizing your pricing. So a lot of people worry about what they should charge, both when they're coming up with their first product price, if they're looking to add new products, or even just wondering if the price they're charging is the right price to begin with. And really, everyone struggles with this. You'd be amazed how many people come to me and have a question about what they should price a new product at. And this is somebody who has years of experience and has made, thousands or even millions of dollars in product sales. So don't feel like you're alone if you're having trouble deciding what to price, because even the experts and the veterans do as well. So the first place to start is to check out the competition. And typically you're going to want to check out competition that is in your same niche, selling similar types of products. So, what's included in the product, or the product is kind of geared towards the same target audience. One thing that a lot of new vendors and infopreneurs make the mistake of is thinking that their product needs to be somehow similar to the price of books or things like that. And I'm going to talk in a minute about why that's not the case. So check out the competition that is on ClickBank or is in other similar online information product markets. So we'll look at some examples here where you can kind of do a comparison. So this person has the price, talks about what they include. So that one's $37. Here's a different one that they're selling it for $27. And then this one is an example of a continuity, and it has a trial, and then it goes up to $99 a month. So the prices can range pretty broadly. You don't have to feel like you have to copy the competition exactly. If you can add additional value that your competitors don't, or you have some kind of differentiating factor to your product, then you can potentially charge a lot more. It really just depends on what the market looks like, what customers are used to paying, those sorts of things. One important thing I want to talk about is the idea of value versus cost. And this is where I was talking about not comparing yourself to books. A lot of people think, well, a customer could go out and buy a book and learn how to do this stuff themselves, and books only cost $10 to $20. But really, what you need to think about when pricing your product is, what is the end result worth to them? Not, what's the cost of materials, or what's the cost of your time, or that sort of thing. It's, what's the value they're going to get out of it? What's the result? How much is that result worth it to them? If, for example, if you're offering a diet product and you can help someone lose a lot of weight that's been trying to and failing for years, they're going to be willing to pay almost any price you ask. So, you don't have to limit yourself based on sort of traditional products out there that you've seen, like books or that kind of thing. If you can really help people achieve a result that they've never been able to achieve before, or that they have a real driving desire to achieve, then you can price appropriately, whatever you really think that product is worth. Don't worry about, thinking about dollars for time or that sort of thing. Another way to think about it is the DIY or do-it-yourself cost. When you're coming up with your product pricing, think about how much it would cost to do it yourself in terms of time, in terms of effort, frustration, actual hard costs. Those things can go a long way to influencing how much someone is willing to pay for something, if your messaging reflects that. And you say, yeah, you could do all this yourself. You could buy a book and spend 10 hours reading that book, and then you're going to have to spend an hour a day to achieve those results. Or you can buy my product, watch the video in 15 minutes and get started right away, and you can start seeing results faster. So a good example of that would be diet and fitness. So when you think about the DIY costs of it, there are physical hard costs, so working with a personal trainer or paying for gym fees. There's equipment that someone could buy, and it could potentially be the wrong equipment, and then that's money down the drain. Buying stuff that's not actually going to help them. Think of all the people that have bought like a home gym, and then it sits there unused, and they've spent $1,000 or more to get something that's not actually helping them achieve a result. And then there's also hours of wasted time. People lead busy lives, and so any hour that they're spending that's not actually getting them to their goal and to the result is wasted. And if you can portray that to people in your sales messaging and explain why your product is going to help them avoid that wasted time, that makes it automatically a lot more valuable to them, since time is money. One thing that comes up a lot is people want to talk about the sort of the ending number of a price, whether it's $27 or $29 or $25. Um, in my opinion, and based on the evidence I've seen and kind of reporting I've seen, is that there's not a lot of strong evidence for using one or the other specific price. You see a lot of products end in $7. And people say, yeah, studies have shown that this works better, but when you actually go looking for the studies and for the evidence, there's not much of it out there. Really, any kind of pricing you do that ends in an odd number, like a 7 or a 9, it indicates to people that they're getting a bargain. So, you can use those since you're wanting to demonstrate that people are getting a bargain, but don't feel like you have to go with one or the other just because everybody else is. Doing a different price can actually be a good differentiator, and people might look at your product and say, I wonder why he's charging $28 instead of $27 like everybody else. So it could be a good way to stand out. So my recommendation is just pick one and test against it. Just pick a starting price, and then you want to test because you don't want to leave money on the table. If you're charging $27 and you could get just as good a conversion at $29, then that's basically a little bit less than 10% extra that you could be making on every sale. So once you pick one, run with that, establish a baseline, and then start testing against it to see if you could make more money without losing conversions. One of the keys to pricing successfully and improving your conversion rate with pricing is to explain how you got to that price. A lot of prices seem kind of chosen arbitrarily, and if you don't do a good job of explaining why you are setting it at that price, it can seem not genuine to people of why you're charging them that amount. So going back to our DIY cost example, a good way of doing that is to say, when you add up the costs of doing this on your own, this much in gym memberships, this much in working with a personal trainer, this much in equipment, or you can get my guide for 10% of that because I want to give you 10 times the value of what I'm delivering. I want to make it that much less expensive so that you'll actually do it and accomplish the results this time. So if you can sort of demonstrate how you arrived at that price, it's going to make it a lot more believable, and people will be a lot more likely to jump on it than if you just say, yeah, here's what I'm giving you, and I decided to charge $47 for it. So as much as you can explain it, the better. Another way to reinforce your price and reinforce this idea of all the value that they're getting for the price is to show them everything that they're going to get. So this example of a model train product that's for sale on ClickBank, it's showing them, you get the original guide, you get another special report that would normally sell for $27 on its own, and kind of walking through those. Now, if you're claiming that additional products and bonuses and things have value, then you really do need to be selling them somewhere at that price, or have purchased them at that price, and there's a real cost associated with them. You can't just make things up. But you can tie your price back to everything that they're getting. So in this one, they're getting a paleo recipe book and then a bunch of accompanying guides that add up and create a total value of everything you're getting, and then you can tie your price back to that. And then here's another one for a dog training product. It's talking about, you get the book, you get a video program, you get consultations online, and then, several other guides. And here's the value that that ties up to. And then my price is 10% of that, for example. At the end of the day, when it comes to pricing, there's no magic bullet or magic number that you can just go with and it's going to be successful. Even when we're talking about looking at competitors or, what the value of your product is, you're going to have to test. It's the best way to both maximize your conversion rate and make sure that you're converting as many visitors into buyers as you can, and also to make sure that you're not leaving money on the table. In some cases, it can be better to price higher because it's increasing the perceived value of your product. I've seen products where they say, I'm going to deliver these massive results and you get 1,000 things and, it's this huge deal, and then it says, and you get all that for $7. That doesn't seem believable. It seems like the quality of what you're going to get is probably pretty low if they're willing to deliver all this stuff for so little. So, in some cases it's better to try out higher prices and see if people will still buy it, or if in some cases it actually increases the conversion rate. So the way that you can do that in ClickBank is to just create copies of your existing product and set different price points. And then you can test pricing with different delivery methods as well. So, if you have an ebook version of your product, you might create a version that's more of a video training and try a different price point on that, see how it converts, and that may end up becoming your primary product if that converts better. You might do audio versions, you might do physical products, continuity-based products where it's delivering a new lesson to them every month or something like that. So you've got to just test those out and see where the sweet spot is for you. You can also try running time-sensitive specials and see if it improves conversion. So where you do basically a deal for the week before Christmas, for example, or something like that. In some cases, it'll improve conversion, but it might actually kind of lower your overall earnings or your profits if you're selling it at too low of a price. The boost in conversion rate might not be worth how much money you're leaving on the table. So before you go with that and decide that that's the right new price, test it out and make sure that it's as profitable as your current pricing. So that's it for this video. Up next, we're going to talk about how to optimize your conversions through taking control of your traffic sources. So I will see you in the next video.